Today we're getting into the latest Tesla tech and EV news, including Tesla's $20,000 price drop, another canceled feature from Tesla, Apple's slew of new products, and more, so let's get into it. First up today is some news that applies for all EVs. A new study has proven that EVs are cleaner across the board, even when accounting for manufacturing emissions and electricity generation. We always see that EVs are consistently producing lower lifetime greenhouse gas emissions than comparable gasoline vehicles. Lifetime emission benefits vary by powertrain, of course, and location. For example, in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, a compact sedan using only gasoline emits about 309 grams of CO2 per mile, but switching to a compact hybrid cuts that by 20%. Switching instead to a plug-in hybrid cuts it by 44%, and then switching to a battery electric vehicle, which gets about a 200-mile range, slashes that to 63%. So location does matter here because in certain regions where there's cleaner electricity, like Phoenix, the benefits are even more pronounced. For example, a BEV can reduce emissions by about 79% there compared to a gasoline compact car over its life. Now, of course, we're talking about a compact 200-mile range EV in a clean area there. But even when you look at heavy, long-range EVs, they still outperform gasoline cars. A large electric SUV or a 7,000-pound pickup truck, something like the Rivian R1T, emits less than a compact gasoline car over its lifetime, only about 71% of its total CO2 output. So as we can see, EVs haul more while polluting less. Even with a 2,500-pound payload, a 400-mile range electric truck still produces roughly 35% of the CO2 emissions of an empty gasoline-only truck. These are things that a lot of people have known, but another study proving this is great to see. And it covers the entire United States. EVs have lower lifetime emissions in every county across the contiguous United States, regardless of grid cleanliness or whether you're looking at sedans, SUVs, or pickups. So a lot of times people have an argument about EVs that, well, what did you charge it from? Did you charge it directly from a coal power plant? And is that actually cleaner? Well, in this case, we can see that it is across the board. Even if you're getting the dirtiest energy possible, EVs are just so efficient at using that energy that over their lifetime, they always end up a lot cleaner. This is a great finding to see, and it applies to Teslas, of course, but all EVs as a whole. Next up today, over at Tesla, we oftentimes see them cancel products, especially as of late. There are some products that were heavily rumored or talked about but not really shown, like a $25,000 drivable EV that they've canceled. But on the other side of things, there are these features that they actually have promised that they've changed their mind on. For example, there was the Plaid Plus Model S. That was supposed to come with a 520-mile range and get even better performance than the Plaid Model S. But Elon Musk ended up saying that it didn't make sense because for the majority of drivers, they won't be using that full range day to day, and they're always concerned about efficiency. For the Cybertruck, there was a 500-mile range version of that car promised, and that never came to be. And that one was especially disappointing because a lot of people tow with the Cybertruck, and that range gets cut by a lot when towing, so having 500 miles is very important there and very useful. Now, at the Cybertruck's release event, Tesla announced kind of a consolation there with the range extender. It was definitely pricey and far more expensive than they originally announced the 500-mile range version to be, but this range extender would have gotten the range closer to 500 miles. They took non-refundable deposits on that, and it was supposed to come in time, but it kept getting delayed, the range kept getting cut, and then ultimately they canceled it entirely. They refunded the people who put down a deposit, but of course that's going to be frustrating. There are some Cybertruck owners out there that expected that they would get a 300-mile range car today and then be able to upgrade it closer to 500 in the near future with a deposit down on that product, and Tesla canceled it. At the same time, there's a similar situation with Autopilot. Autopilot was supposed to be coming later for the Cybertruck, but instead Tesla only released full self-driving. For Foundation Series Cybertruck owners, this came with the package automatically. However, for many other Cybertruck owners, they were probably banking on the fact that this would come in time, since basic autopilot is included by default in every single other Tesla that they ship. However, they announced that that is not coming. On the more adventurous side of things for that car was boat mode, and of course that one never came to be, but now there's wireless charging. After the Cybertruck launched and there were teardowns, it was discovered that the Cybertruck had unused hardware for a wireless charging retrofit. This surprise was also found in the service manual, where the Cybertruck's high-voltage battery pack specifically was labeled to include a connector for inductive charging. This implied a built-in readiness for wireless charging down the line. This would have been an absolute first for Teslas, because no other Tesla service manual mentions this, and we know the hardware isn't there in other Tesla vehicles. At the time, this fell in line with Tesla's future plans for wireless charging, and Tesla's chief designer Franz von Holzhausen talking about that in an interview on Jay Leno's Garage. There's also a hollow part in the back of the Cybertruck that many expected this could end up going into, but now we have found out for sure this is canceled from Tesla. Tesla officially scrapped plans for wireless EV charging on the Cybertruck. Now, this wasn't as much something that was promised, but it was something they included the hardware for, and engineers actually hinted at would be coming in the future on X. For this specifically though, Tesla's lead engineer, Wes Morrill, for the Cybertruck said, quote, "Nothing planned there. Wireless charging for something as far off the ground as Cybertruck is silly. You'd need a base station that's like 6 inches tall." There, it's kind of one of those frustrating things to see from Tesla, because we know they included the hardware for this feature in the Cybertruck. They are all about cutting unnecessary parts from their cars. So for some reason, they actually saw this to be necessary, and now he's just saying it's silly. It seems like something they were definitely planning for, but then ended up scrapping because of efficiency. Now, ultimately, that makes sense, because efficiency is already pretty difficult with inductive EV charging. It's one of the reasons we really haven't seen this adopted at scale yet. But still, they were working on it. As for the future, though, this could be a possibility, and I think it's something that could be. If Tesla goes through with their plans, the Cybercab is supposed to be only charged from wireless charging. So then they could be developing this technology in the future and work on a charging coil that specifically raises for the Cybertruck. We'll have to see how this all develops, but for now, it's another thing that we were kind of promised for the Cybertruck that is definitely not coming to be. Tesla has canceled another feature. Now, regarding pricing at Tesla, things are always in flux, and it's very interesting to watch and also very frustrating for those trying to buy their cars. However, a lot of these factors aren't actually totally in Tesla's control. For example, all of the tariffs going on right now, and the elimination of the EV tax credit. A lot of these things are going to affect Tesla's pricing, and already are. For instance, this week over in Canada, Tesla's inaugural batch of Model Y vehicles built in Giga Berlin arrived with several hundred SUVs offloaded at the Dartmouth Autoport in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Customers have begun receiving VINs for these cars that are built in Berlin, and deliveries are expected to start within 2 weeks. It seems that Tesla is prioritizing Eastern Canada due to its proximity there. It's funny because a lot of this supply chain stuff has to do with US tariffs, and this is part of this situation, but Canada and China are also involved. Previously, Tesla Canada sourced Model Ys from Fremont, one of Tesla's US factories, or briefly Giga Shanghai in China. But rising tariffs, which were 100% on Chinese-made vehicles and 25% on US-made vehicles, made this a non-viable option anymore. It raised the price just too much for consumers to actually buy these cars. However, importing these cars from Germany circumvents these steep tariffs by ensuring a more stable, cost-efficient supply. But the big news here is that in response to these tariffs, Tesla had to raise prices on Canadian Model Ys by as much as 21,000 Canadian dollars. With these new imports, though, prices have now dropped by about 20,000 Canadian dollars, bringing them $5,000 lower than pre-tariff levels. So for now, the Model Y long range is the only one available in Canada at 64,990 Canadian dollars. Although Giga Berlin is actually producing the performance version of this car now, so that could be something we see there soon. Either way, it's a $20,000 price drop for the Model Y in Canada specifically, and it's something that will surely help them with sales there. It's always interesting to watch how companies can navigate all of these different situations, and basically at this point it just meant shipping from a different Tesla factory, which shows how their global presence of different factories is really a benefit for them. Next up today, we have a number of small updates from Tesla, and one of them will actually impact a lot of Model 3 owners. As Tesla has released their refreshed cars, they keep adding front bumper cameras to them. The Cybertruck, the Model S and X, and the Model Y all have that front camera, so the Model 3 is the only one left without one. Of course, it's a nice feature to have in general for visibility, but many think it's also going to be essential for self-driving in the future because the Robotaxi has one. As such, this week, a Tesla Model 3 Performance has been spotted with a front camera retrofit on it. This car was built on August 21st, and it seems that it has a spot right there in the center for a front bumper camera. This could be how Tesla plans to integrate this on newly built cars, but this also could be how Tesla plans to install this on older cars for those that want to get the retrofit. If it becomes necessary, it would be something that Tesla should give customers for free on their Model 3s, and it's interesting to see. It doesn't look like the best implementation possible, so we'll see how this ends up in practice and what exactly this is. Will this ship soon as a feature on the Model 3, or is this simply them testing something for the future? Now, regarding their future products for Q4, the Tesla Model Y in its more affordable form has been spotted testing in Daly City, California. Some things we can notice here are that in the back, it is painted to match the body panel instead of having that rear gray insert as a reflector for that reflective light bar that the Model Y has. That seems like something that will help them distinguish these trims and probably cut costs. They also seem to be somewhat hiding the fact that this probably doesn't have a glass roof by having it as a glossy black wrap. That could be what they go for that design as a whole, or they could simply be disguising this for sightings. Regardless, we've seen a lot of leaks of this car at this point, so we're expecting something hopefully in Q4. Now, regarding the Model Y Performance, that car has been fully announced for Europe exclusively at this point, but one was spotted testing out in California. It has the carbon fiber rear spoiler, it has black mirror caps, which is a detail that's only on the performance version, it has a gray headliner, and then 20-inch induction wheels from the legacy Model Y. Probably something they're just testing with at this point, because we do expect it to have the new Model Y Performance wheels that are 21 inches, but it's good to see this testing in California. It's another sign that that car could be coming soon, most likely in Q4 as well. Now, one of the biggest parts of Tesla's business as a whole is their energy business, and that business continues scaling. This week they announced their MagBak and MagBak. These are both very big products that are very important to that business, but also products that the average customer will never actually deal with. First though, the MagBak is Tesla's modular plug-and-play system that is built for rapid deployment. Each MagBak delivers 20 megawatt hours of AC energy with a projected 25-year life cycle and over 10,000 cycles. It has a 91% round-trip efficiency, accounting for auxiliary loads, and it's designed for efficiency as a whole. The MagBak integrates transformers, switchgear, and 4 Megapack 3 units into one pre-engineered module. Because of everything being designed all together and coming as a module, installation time is 23% faster compared to previous systems, and construction costs are cut by up to 40% because of reduced site complexity and streamlined design. It eliminates the need for above-ground cabling by using a flexible bus bar assembly, and that also improves safety and simplicity. As far as how much energy density can go per acre, they say it can deliver 248 megawatt hours, and they aim to commission 1 gigawatt hour in just 20 business days, which is the equivalent to powering 400,000 homes in under a month. This video shows what this product is as a whole, but within that MagBak is the new Megapack 3, which is simpler, more robust, and very large in scale. It offers 5 megawatt hours of usable AC energy per unit in a 28-foot enclosure weighing about 86,000 pounds. This also has a 78% reduction in internal connections due to a streamlined thermal bay design that they built using the enhanced Model Y heat pump, and roughly 75% of each unit's mass is actually the battery cells themselves, including new 2.8-liter LFP cells co-developed by Tesla. Overall, this is a great product to see and comes with a lot of advancements, and Tesla is slated to begin production of this in late 2026 at their new Houston Megafactory, targeting an annual capacity of 50 gigawatt hours. Additional cell supply will also come from Tesla's 7 gigawatt hour LFP facility in Nevada, as well as third parties. Not only is this a new and improved product for the future, but it also signals a shift for where they are sourcing the battery cells for, specifically for the Megapack going into the future. Part of that is due to tariffs as well. Now, a feature that will affect day-to-day customers is Tesla's new Multipass. Multipass is a new system for Tesla owners that allows you to use your Tesla account to charge at non-Tesla chargers. You simply activate your Tesla keycard or use the Tesla app to start charging at non-Tesla chargers. You find the charger, start charging, and view charging history all in the same convenient location through the Tesla app. And this is live today for Tesla owners in the Netherlands specifically, with more sites and countries coming soon. Definitely one of the best parts about Tesla superchargers is how easily integrated it is with the car itself. When you go to a third-party charging, it can be a lot more difficult. So this system could be something that makes it much easier for Tesla owners to charge at third-party chargers, which overall is great for everyone. Of course, Tesla will want you to still use superchargers since it's their own design there, but there are situations where you need to use a third-party charger, or it's just more convenient to do so, or maybe more available. So this will make it that much easier to drive a Tesla. Now, going into the future, Tesla's AI chips should become a huge part of this company as a whole. And Elon Musk tweeted about their AI5 chip today, saying, quote, "Just had a great design review today with the Tesla AI5 chip design team. This is going to be an epic chip. And AI6 to follow has a shot at being the best AI chip by far. Switching from doing 2 chip architectures to 1 means all our silicon talent is focused on making one incredible chip. No brainer in retrospect. Please join the Tesla Silicon team if you want to work on chips that save lives. Milliseconds matter." Of course, this chip will be something that they use in a ton of their products like Optimus, and this week they showed off a new gold color for Optimus that matches the Cybercab, saying, quote, "The future is golden." In this photo, if you zoom in, you can see the cameras, which are kind of the eyes of Optimus inside of its face. It's just a little weird to see the location since it's lower than normal. Then for the Robotaxi network and its expansion, or really its ride-hailing network in the Bay Area, Tesla is seeking approval for pickups and drop-offs at the San Francisco Airport, San Jose Airport, and Oakland Airport. Overall expansion to airports is very important for ride-hailing services, and it's something that adds a lot of complexity, so this will be very interesting to see. Right now, I say it's a ride-hailing service in the Bay Area because it's technically classified only as that, and the safety monitor has to be in the driver's seat there. Over in Austin, where I'm actually filming this video right now, the Robotaxi does operate as a Robotaxi with a safety monitor in the passenger seat. Then if the car does need to go on the freeway, they will be in the driver's seat to monitor in that specific case. Either way, this is a good sign of expansion, and I'm curious to see how it goes. Unfortunately, I never got my approval in the Tesla Robotaxi app to test this out when I'm in Austin. Lastly, for Tesla today, the Model Y L has a lot of cargo space. This is the 6-seater version of the Model Y that they launched only in China, and this week they shared a cool video showing just how much cargo space this car has. I think a video like this shows how much the United States really wants this car, and how it probably doesn't make sense for Tesla to wait until the end of 2026 to launch this, but we'll see what happens there. Last up today, some updates over from Apple, who just held their keynote. Apple just held their yearly iPhone event, and they announced 3 new phones, new AirPods, and new watches. For the iPhone 17, this now has a brighter display with ProMotion, 120 Hz included across the board. It also has a ceramic shield 2 front with 3 times better scratch resistance, 48 megapixel dual fusion cameras, an 18 megapixel front camera with center stage, and an A19 chip with all-day battery. The colors here are lavender, sage, mist blue, white, and black. For the iPhone 17 Pro, it's now an aluminum unibody design with that full sweeping camera bump that was heavily rumored. It has an A19 Pro chip, and it's vapor cooled, which improves thermal performance as a whole. This also has an improved ceramic shield, and all of the rear cameras are now 48 megapixels with an 18 megapixel front camera with that center stage feature. Now, that telephoto lens has been improved to 8x from 5 previously, so this is the equivalent of 200 millimeters, and the options you see in the app are 0.5, 1, 2, 4, and 8x. That gives you a lot of flexibility for any photos you're taking at very high quality, and they say it's like having 8 Pro lenses in your pocket. It's super high resolution 24 megapixel photos by default. And a new feature they've actually added here for all of these phones is dual capture video. You can record front and back at the same time. This is something you've been able to do with third-party apps, but now it's built in. Colors for the Pro phone include cosmic orange, deep blue, and silver specifically. It's interesting to see no black Pro phone here. Also, they say this is the best ever iPhone battery life with up to 4 hours more per charge compared to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, the actual new product here is the iPhone Air. This is the thinnest iPhone ever, It's thin, light, and strong at 5.6 millimeters and 165 grams with a 6.5-inch display. It has a single 48 megapixel main camera and then an 18 megapixel front camera, so they say this is the equivalent of 4 lenses in your pocket. This also does that dual capture video and has the A19 Pro chip with all-day battery. Colors are sky blue, light gold, cloud white, and space black, and it has a titanium frame. Then came the AirPods Pro 3. The big thing they've added here is heart rate sensing, so you can track your heart rate and calories burned during a workout, and you don't necessarily have to do that with a watch if you don't wear an Apple Watch. This is a feature that will be cool for a lot of people who use AirPods for working out, but won't really matter too much for people who already use an Apple Watch. Across the board as well, they've added live translation, but then for these AirPods Pro 3, they've included the hearing aid capability and automatic conversation boost. They also say it gets 67% more battery in transparency mode, and then of course it has better sound quality, better mics and voice isolation, and better fit. They also say it's the world's best in-ear active noise cancellation and removes 2 times more unwanted noise than the Pro 2. Next, Apple Watches. There's the Series 11, which can spot signs of high blood pressure. It also has a sleep score, 24-hour battery. It's more scratch resistant, has 5G, and is thinner than before. For the SE3, it now has an always-on display. It also has that sleep score. They've added wrist temperature sensing, and it has a tougher display. Then for the Ultra 3, they've added satellite communications. It has a 42-hour battery. It's brighter, easier to read, and can spot high blood pressure, and also has that sleep score feature. As always with Apple events, there are some exciting things to see here. Some of the features have been available for years on Android phones, and some of these things we think could simply be pushed with a software update. For instance, that sleep score is a new feature, but shouldn't that be able to come to all older Apple Watches? I hope it does. Regardless, for myself, I'm always excited about new cameras, so the Pro phones with that 8x lens do look pretty exciting to me. However, the Air is that new product that's thinner before that probably will excite some people. As usual, there's not a huge difference from previous years, but that one will stand out to people because of just how thin it is. That's all the latest Tesla tech and EV news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the real breakdown on if you can afford a Tesla, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.